This is Ben from Testive, and we're looking at a natural sciences ACT question. The passage states that observations of the sky have led to all of the following except. Okay, now whenever you see except in capital letters, you just want to remind yourself, you want to underline it. You want to remember that you are not looking for the first thing in the answer choices that is in the passage. You're looking for the only one that isn't. All right, so the passage states that observations of the sky have led to all of the following except mythical tales, superstitious awe, scientific inferences, and inspired poetry. Now, when you're doing a question like this, you're often going to feel some familiarity with some of the answer choices because at least 3 of them are present. So in this case, we're going to kind of go through each one and see if we can remember where it is and whether it's in the passage or not. So it's kind of easiest to, we could start at the top of the passage or we could start at the first answer. Let's just start with the first answer, mythical tales. So have observations of the sky led to mythical tales? Well, I'm remembering the sailors in the last paragraph talking about the coal sacks. And specifically from earlier questions, I'm remembering the portion where they talk about, they listen in rapt wonder to their tales. And then also this phrase, sea dogs yarn. A yarn is like a tale, and we're talking about the magical wonders of the unknown south. So it seems like we're talking about mythical tales there. So that is in the that is something that the sky has led to. So we're not going to choose that one. Superstitious awe. We don't even have to go back to the same place. We just saw that the sailors, piously crossed themselves and they were afraid of the coal sacks. So we can rule that one out. We know that it led to that. Scientific inferences. Well, what's a scientific inference? I guess that's something where you're performing the scientific method, you're observing, you're making hypotheses, you're theorizing, something like that. So the scientist that we read about in the passage is most likely Sir William Herschel. So I'm going to go down to the portion where we read about him. Some of Sir William Herschel's observations appear to indicate an association between these neighboring star clouds and nebula. Okay, his observations indicate an association between 2 different phenomena. To me, that would represent a scientific inference. That's a little more of a stretch, so I'm going to kind of mark this one with a little squiggle and see if we can rule out the last answer. And if not, then the last answer is the one. Inspired poetry. Well, I remember reading about the poetry because it's right in the beginning. The truth lies at the heart of the dramatic effect of the poet Keats's stout Cortez staring at the boundless Pacific. Okay, so we don't need to keep going here. This is where they're trying to trick you with this question. We're talking about Keats describing Cortez staring at the Pacific. If you remember from reading this earlier, this is an analogy. It's about the ocean, not about space. So, in fact, the sky has not, in the passage, led to inspired poetry. So it's not going to be scientific inferences, and it is going to be poetry that's not something that the sky has led to within the passage.